Facebook ads are constantly changing, and the most important part about generating real and more revenue for your brand is using a tool as powerful as Facebook and Instagram ads, but making sure that you use them correctly. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what is working right now for clothing brands, my exact setup, and the thought process for creating high converting ads that most people are not talking about. And yes, we are going to talk about how to create ads that resonate with your audience right now, today, to generate real money. The biggest mistake I used to make was running ads from directly inside of Ads Manager. Maybe you're guilty of this as well. So you log into Ads Manager, go to business.facebook, and you start to work on the ads right there. Ads should be built outside of Ads Manager and then brought into Ads Manager for the final details. All of the stuff that happens outside of Ads Manager is what makes ads actually work. The creative process, the creative part of the business is what really moves this forward at a faster rate and a more effective rate. A good ad must start with research. Some of the things I like to do when I'm conducting research is look at my top competitors, not just big brands. So for example, if you're in the clothing brand space and you're a boutique, the last thing you want to do is look at a Pink Lily if you're not doing $100 million a year, or looking at Revolve, or looking at whomever. Those are good things to go off of, but they're not really your competitors. Go find one of the other 200,000 plus boutiques in the world who are very similar to yours. If you're a streetwear brand, the last thing you want to look at is to look at something like Supreme. Again, you're comparing brands that are doing millions upon millions of dollars per month to your brand. I want you to look at other people just like you who are maybe a step or two steps ahead. Those are typically the ones that are like boots on the ground, doing hard work right now that you can use and mimic and come out with really good information. The other thing I want to do when I'm looking at research is if I have any past data, I want to look back at my winning ad sets. We'll talk about that when we get into Ads Manager, but I want to look at my previous ad sets and designs and creative that had worked previously, because I can use that to recreate again. I think one opportunity to get better is that most people will find success with something and then think that I got to find the next big thing, when really all they should be doing is more of what already worked. Do more of what's already working. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll find a winning ad or a winning creative, and then we will come up with a variation, or if a product sells out, we'll use the product in a similar way that we did before because it worked. I know that sounds crazy. I know that seems like novice, but so many people just spend all of their time coming up with new concepts, even though they had something win before, because I don't know, I really don't know. But that's what a lot of people do. So if that's you, this is your pass to say, hey, look, if you had something that worked before, go duplicate it again and do it the exact same way. Right? It's worth a try. Things to consider as you are conducting your research. Which stage of customer am I going after? Let me explain that here in a second, because I think there's two parts to this, which is, are people aware of my product? Are they aware of my competitors' products? These are questions that people have. There are 5 stages of customer awareness that people are in, but also that you should be marketing to. So you have people who are unaware, completely unaware of your product, your brand. Then you have problem aware. So maybe, for example, you have your own line of clothes, and we have a program member who is serving men who are tall but also have super long arms. And so they're problem aware, but they don't understand that they maybe are not solution aware. So then you got problem aware, they know that they have this problem but don't know about a solution. So then there's solution aware. There's somebody out there who has long arms who knows that there's an option, so you got to market to them differently. And then there's product aware, meaning that they're actually specifically available for that person. Spanx is another good example of this as well. People have always been looking for a product like Spanx, and then now at this point Spanx has moved into its own category and people are now product aware because the brand is so big. And then you have like the most aware, which I think is kind of subjective in most aspects, right? Which is, for example, Lululemon created their own category. People were unaware of something, then they're like, oh, I am problem aware, I need this. Now they're solution aware, product aware with Lululemon, and then the most aware. Right now they have a big brand. And that's kind of the progression that people go. So where are you and how are you marketing people for whichever stage that they're at? Now, you need to create and find ads that are in each one of these categories so that you can hit multiple audiences. Most people, I promise you, if you're watching this video right now, they have no clue who you are. You have not tapped into the marketplace. They do not know where you're at. And most people are marketing to people who have heard of your brand or your type of brand. And there needs to be a larger perspective of going after a top of the funnel. So you want to hit all segments of these people because that's how Facebook works, and we'll talk about that here in a second, about its targeting is done through the creative. If you want the link to all the creative that we save for each one of the stages that I just mentioned, just comment the word foreplay down below and I'll send that to you for free. Just comment over there and just a link I'll send to you. Whether you love or hate him, Ye, or formerly known as Kanye, does a great job at marketing. So stick with me here. For those who do not know, he dropped his pod shoe and a clothing line at the same time of his new album, okay? Promise this will make some relevance to what's going on here. The shoes were originally priced around, I think, about 200 bucks, and now it's 7 mallards. The shoes were dropped originally, I think, at like $200, and the price dropped dramatically for $20 for everybody. Now they're sold out, but sales went through the roof. I'm not stating that you should give a huge discount, but what I am saying is that great ads also do better with a great offer. So in doing your research, one of the things we need to talk about outside of that is making sure that we're looking at an amazing offer. An offer does not have to be a discount either. You need to know where your product is in the marketplace and make sure that that offer aligns with where your audience is at in the awareness stage, as well as market sophistication. So let me explain those for you because I think it will make a little bit more sense. And again, I promise you we're gonna get to the ads, but I'm trying to give you a proven strategy where the ads, honestly, we're gonna get to the end of it and you're gonna be like, what? Okay, I've never done that before, but those buttons are not anything crazy out of the ordinary, and they're not going to be. The strategy leading up to it to make these ads work is what's gonna make the difference. So if you just skip over this part, you're gonna miss the reason that your ads are converting, and then you're gonna continue to boost posts, or you're gonna continue to get really bad return on ad spend. So let's make sure that we go deeper here. There are technically 8 of these levels of market sophistication, but we'll hit on the main 5 that most people mention and talk about because for you guys, I think that's gonna be the most relevant. The more of these that you can add to your offer and to your brand, the more irresistible it is to get more sales. Now I'm about to share with you what these are, but I also just wanna say that yes, we will get into the building of the ads, just like I told you. Stick around, just like I mentioned. It's all gonna make sense here in a second. Now, I wanna make sure that you're putting yourself in a situation where you can grow long-term and not just for a week or two. And that starts with this foundation here as well. So the first level of market sophistication is product differentiation. This means how products are made different from each other, like having unique features, better quality, famous brands, and good experiences for customers. So for example, if you had a streetwear brand that was super high quality material, or you had somebody who is a famous YouTuber who was part of that brand, that's gonna help them stick out. Those are different things. Those are different benefits, different features rather of the product. And so that's kind of like the first one. If you can do that, you may be able to sell to somebody. It's the reason that Ye made those pods work and that his t-shirts worked. He was charging $100 for those shirts and now they're 20. He's able to do that because of the brand, and they're selling like crazy because of the name and the brand, whatever. So not everybody can compete there. The next thing though is targeting and segmentation. This is about finding a specific group of people to sell to and making marketing plans, or more importantly, finding those people in the marketplace so that you can match their behavior. So for example, let's reverse engineer this conversation here. We are creating content for you. Most of you watching this at this point are in the apparel, accessory, that genre of business, because that's who we've created this content for. If you're not one of those, don't worry, this still applies to you. But my point is, the more niche that you can go, the better. So again, I go back to my example that I use a lot, which is a Christian-based company that's out of the state of Texas. So if they love Texas and they love God, hopefully I think it's more like God and then Texas, but you get my point, is that you can narrow down the audience you're going after to have more success. The generalities are what slow you down. Now, number 3 is the competitive landscape. This is about how many companies are in the market, how much of the market they have. For example, you've heard of Whole Strength before if you've ever been in the Christian clothing brand space. One, you've probably heard of Fear of God. But those are, again, how many people are in the marketplace, how much market share do they actually have, and that's gonna tell you how big of a spot you're gonna be able to take. What strategies they use and how strong the competition is going to determine whether or not you will have success. So can you carve out your spot? The 4th area of sophistication is customer knowledge. Companies learn a lot about their customers, like what they need and what they like and how they buy things and what they think about their company's products or services. So it's that information gathering stage. You may not be there. You may not be in the position right now to give very specific insight and go into details because you may just be starting out. And even if you are more sophisticated, you still maybe have not gone and done this honestly, most brands that I talk to have never even reached this stage. They stay in the first 3. It's not a bad thing, but it gets harder and harder. It's squeezing of it to expand. You have less competition, but it's harder to do. And the 5th one is the technological integration. This means using technology, a lot like marketing, like using the internet, analyzing data, automating tasks, and managing relationships with customers using software. So one example of this is we have a brand that we're working with that is using NFC tags to integrate technology into the apparel, but you can also use this to analyze the data and trends and lifetime value. And because you know that a customer is going to buy every 30 days, you can interact with them, send a message to them every 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. Again, I think most people are going to stay in those first 3 levels. However, you really want to start continuing to develop your brand as you grow into each one of these levels of sophistication and meeting people where they're at. All right, now hold up just one second. I wanted to say that if you are a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow up profitably online, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session with us. There are limited spots, so go find a time on the calendar that works best for you right now. There's a link in the description down below. Boosting posts on Instagram does not work anymore. I mean, I've seen a couple of people make it work for a couple of days, but honestly, it does not work. People, please stop doing that. You will need to get inside of Ads Manager. You need to make sure you have your pixel set up correctly. But after that, let's jump into ads. Let's jump into Ads Manager. Let me show you exactly the way we're thinking about ads so that you can make sure that this works for you. If you got to this part of the video and you missed the other 2 pieces that really make this whole thing work, go back and watch those because it is extremely important. Okay guys, so we are over here inside of Ads Manager. I'm gonna show you several different accounts. Also, just so you know, for the timing of this video, so you don't have a 30-minute video, I'm gonna walk through the copy and the things that are examples here in a second. But there's 2 campaigns that are running right now, or there's 1 campaign that's running. One was a BAT test, we call it as a brand awareness testing. I wouldn't necessarily worry about that. Then there is a conversion campaign. The conversion campaign is set up pretty simply, and I'll tell you a little bit how we're thinking about this. So previously we only looked at DCT or dynamic creative ads, and then we ran to a broad audience, which has not necessarily changed. But what we have done, and we have been testing, at this point it's been spending about $60,000, $70,000 in actual testing over the last couple months to prove a couple of theories that we have. What type of ads are working best for people? At some point we were still doing some retargeting. We were still excluding people with like a 30-day exclusion for past purchasers. We were testing a lot of different things. We had live selling ads that were going, and so this is basically what's working right now, which is why the video was titled the way that it was. Conversion campaign, let's look at this first, and I guess first and foremost, like, let's look at this. So we're spending about $885 a day, 273 purchases, 5x return on just the ad spend here. And let me pull up Shopify to give you guys the actual numbers here so that you can see that as well. I'll even do triple L because that'll probably be easier. I can pull out everything. Okay, so we truly are inside of Ads Manager. This is the last 7 days, as you can see here. This is the truth, right? Not all numbers are green, promise. We're at a 7x returns. This is a blended return on ad spend, meaning for every dollar that we spend, we make 7x in return. We made about $40,000. We spent 6. Net profit is about 15K. But you can see here, right, Facebook's actually at a 3, not a 5.82. Anybody who's a marketer out there in the world who's showing you only numbers inside of Ads Manager is most of the time blowing smoke. I wanted to show this to give some context here so that we can go back to Ads Manager and give some real answers, okay? So, like I said, this is a down week, but if we just look at the last 30 days, we're actually up quite a bit. It's just a 7-day period, okay? So look at the micro and the macro. So about 200,000 in the last 30 days, 26,000 in spend, 8.6 in return on ad spend as a blended return across all marketing. So let's go over here to Ads Manager here. And like I said, go ahead and hit edit. And if you are spending a lower budget, I say lower, but you're spending $100 a day or less, this is a great setup for you. If you're spending $100 a day or more, it's also a great setup. But if you're starting to spend $500, $600, $700, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a day, then the next part of this video will also make a little bit more sense, because once you get a little bit fancier, get fancier, not dancier. Or get dancier, not fancier. I don't know. So anyway, rolling through here, Advantage Plus budget, basically CBO, so campaign budget optimization. So it's distributing the budget between each ad set. Our daily budget is $884. We try to scale up roughly 5% a day if it's doing well, looking at the previous 3 days. All right, everything looks good, running on an actual schedule, seems good. We could move the daily spend to $1,000, $1,100 and it wouldn't change anything, which is cool. If you're spending a decent amount of budget, it'll actually give you that option. So that is the conversion side of things. let's look at the ad sets now. I'll do it this way. So like we'll look at the active ad under new. This is for new arrivals. Again, you'll see that we're going after website, not website and shop. That may change. That's why you got to continue to, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you do not miss out on any videos. I usually don't do a call to action for that till the end. But my point is, we can do website. Website and shop isn't proven as much yet for us. Next thing, maximize conversions. Make sure that the pixel is set up correctly. Dynamic creative is turned on. Most people do not click this button. I think it's become popularized. We've talked about this since literally 2020. So 4 years now of just telling people do dynamic creative. And I'll talk about what that looks like at the ad level here in a second. So dynamic creative, make sure that it's checked. It's gonna allow us to run multiple ads inside of one ad set within one ad, so that you don't have to do campaign, ad set, 5 different ads. It will just be campaign, ad set, one ad, and it will have multiple ads inside of it. So pretty cool tool. Go ahead and turn that on. And then let's scroll on down here. We know the age and gender and location. We're going after women in the United States, 23 to 64 years old, and that's all we need to do. We need to give Facebook this data and creative freedom. If some of you guys are like, no, interest targeting, and no, I gotta do lookalikes, you could. Absolutely you could, but don't knock it till you try it here with this, okay? At this point, we've been trying. There's been several people on the internet as well who've kind of like jumped on this, and I feel like people have watched videos for the last 4 years and are finally getting like, look, I'm doing interest targeting, I'm working harder, I'm doing lookalikes, I'm working harder, and I'm not getting better results. The goal with ads, honestly, is just to let it run like an employee or a contractor or somebody who's doing the work while you focus on the other things, like your content creation, to make better ads. Because honestly, all this setup, it only matters about 10%. The stuff I said in the beginning of the video, your content creation, that piece, a little bit later, that's what really matters. We're gonna go ahead and scroll here, Advantage Plus placements. We're gonna leave it all up. Basically, you're hitting everybody everywhere. You could pick a placement if you'd like. We really do have some examples of things that work well where they just do the stories. If you create story ads, if you have something in stock, it could work. It's all short term. This is long-term plays here, trying to build an actual brand. I'm gonna go to a different account, and I'm gonna show you a couple of other things on here as well. So this account, we have our scaling campaign, bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel, okay? We've left these on mostly because they have done well. However, we will likely cut them with what I'm gonna tell you here in a little bit. You'll notice that all these are 7-day click, 1-day view. It's probably the standard at this point. I think a lot of people suggest that. However, bottom of the funnel, middle funnel, lives. The lives are through comments sold. Highly suggest that if you're doing live selling, use a tool like that. But anyway, so we're getting purchases, got 92 purchases, 22 bucks right now. Much lower spin on this one than our previous campaign. We're spending $2 grand in a week versus $800 in a day on those 2 campaigns. Scaling campaign is a DCT. It's set up exactly the same way. New arrivals is going right now. We have blazers that are coming up, which is awesome. And then new arrivals, which is our resort line. This is what it's gonna look like. So let's go ahead and show you resort. Yeah, this is resort. Okay, so this is going to a different level of market sophistication. This is for people who do not know what's going on. This is a long list of text. It seems very counterintuitive for a clothing boutique. However, it works really well because people who do read it really love and resonate with the brand. The imagery, honestly, it's not my favorite, but it makes money, and if the clients like it and it's making them money, we're gonna keep doing it. At the end of the day, that's why they hired us to do it. We are creative testing, we're always doing so, but like sometimes the answer's right in front of your nose and you don't have to look pretty or cool to do it. You just make money. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, it's because you have a business and it's a clothing brand or a boutique and you wanna make money. This is how we're doing it. Not really holding anything back. Let's go ahead and look at this. So we have a short form piece of text, and Facebook will find the right person to go after for that, and a long form, somebody who's gonna read this thing. Because if you care about trendy clothing, if you are somebody in a rural area and you do care about God and you do care about X, Y, and Z, like, then you're gonna love Libby and Paige. And so at that point, reading this will make a lot of sense to you, and you will likely make a buying decision. Call to actions, pretty simple. You have the headline, shop the latest styles, new arrivals that will turn heads. Those have already worked, we've already proven them, so we haven't tested too many other ones. We will throw in new ones as they come up, but those have already worked. We've seen them work on a ton of other stuff after testing a lot, hundreds of times. We send everybody to the new arrivals collection, not to just this right here, because this is resort. However, resort are the newest items, but we always want people to have an option when they go. Call to action is shop now. I've actually seen a lot of people test the learn more. Check it out. I haven't tested it yet. I want to, but right now shop now works. Make sure if you have an app event, click that and make sure that it's good. This is the triple L UTM so that you can track data accurately. So this is the current setup. This is what's working. This is what the ads look like. For the new ads that are running, a couple of things I want to do. And let me see here. I think we got them going on a different account. And we're going to roll these out for everybody. But again, I want to give some context here. We have a top of the funnel Advantage Plus campaign. And this Advantage Plus campaign has a couple of things inside of it. Number one, it has a carousel that's going constantly with the new products. So we're using Advantage Plus. And Advantage Plus has been really nice. It's kind of like there's technical terms for it, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit simpler than that for you guys here. Basically, it goes after a smaller audience, or a smaller audience at first, who is more likely to engage and make a purchase. So that's why you see Advantage Plus do well out the gate. And then it goes out to a larger audience for people who may not have known you, but may be similar, right? So think of it as like a lookalike. It's doing it all on its own. And so for here, all you need to do with the Advantage Plus is have multiple ads that reach at each level of sophistication or awareness, which is why I mentioned that earlier in the video. And then you're able to create content for that. One of the things here for this is that we also have, again, a carousel going that's Advantage Plus that's gonna pull through either the new arrivals or the best sellers or whatever it is. But let's see here. We also have all right, the catalog is doing like $12 right now. We have two different catalogs, one for $49, one for $12. We may have to look at turning that off. Well, I guess it just started technically. $49, $64 in the last 7 days. So just started for those two. And then we have one that's been going for quite a long time. Meta is going to go back and forth. It does best here if it has multiple ads. I always tell people don't do this unless you actually have a decent amount of budget. So $100 a day or so, $150 as you're starting for this, and have multiple ads in it so it has options to choose from to go after your audience. So I would have a DCT that's going to go broad, and then I would have your kind of like your retargeting campaign, your rest of your funnel. So there is no middle of funnel, bottom of funnel anymore, done by ads or campaigns. It's done through the actual targeting here inside of the ads, which again, keep referencing to the previous part of the video. You're going to do, or Facebook is going to do, the targeting for your marketing and for your advertising through the creative. Now, you know how to build out winning ads. I've shown you that. It's time to build out and scale your actual business. Go watch this video on exactly how to do that right here next. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And P.S., please make sure you subscribe.